Welcome to Cheap Controls. We make videos on things that we struggled with, hoping to help you so you don't. Consider subscribing and hitting that bell. In this video I'm going to go over the basics of the EEPROM in the Nextion. I'm calling it 16A. I'm thinking I might do a couple more on this, but right now I'm just going to go over the basics. I'm going to do this all within the Nextion itself using the debug window. I've duplicated everything on the display and everything seems to function with my display. The first thing I want to do is just go over a little bit about it. In the Nextion display you have 1024 storage bytes and each location is a byte, so it's 8 bits. And what I've done is I've broke it up, so you have 0 through 5, but it really goes 0 through 1023. So including the 0, you have 1024 locations. If you store a value in these locations, each value is 4 bytes. And the first byte is 0 to 255. If your value is 256 to 65,000, it uses both bytes. If the value is from 65,000 to about 16 million, it takes 3 bytes. And if it's a huge old number like this, it'll take 4. You can't have a number larger than this. And if it is a number that's in the 0 to 255 range, the other bytes are just 0. Now if you're storing characters, it's 1 byte each. So if you had a character of 1, 2, 3, which we'll use later, I mean in quotes, like an array, or a word like hello, it would be HELLO, which would be 5 characters. And then you have to add a 0 on the end, so it would be 6 characters. But if you just had the character A, it would take 1 spot in the storage location. And just for reference, we'll be doing later, if you use 1 in a string, it equates to 49 or 31 hex, and 2 is 50 or 32 hex, 3 is 51 or 33 hex, and A is 97 or 61 hex. And we'll go back and forth between that. And we're going to use mainly locations 10 through 13 when we work through our examples. So of all the storage locations 0 through 1023, we're going to focus on these 4. What I have here is I have a slider, I have a number box, a text box, and then 3 buttons down here. One's where we'll read the memory, one will write the memory, and this one we're going to use it to reset the display. When we reset the display, you'll see it'll hold the values, whereas if we had just set the values, they wouldn't hold the values. So if I click on the slider, as we move the slider back and forth, we're going to set this value right here equal to the slider, just so we can see that it's moving. When we release the slider, we're going to use the command write to EEPROM. I believe this EPO is EEPROM. So we're going to take the value, H0 value, so a number, it's going to take 4 bytes, and we're going to start at location 10. The number you put after this comma is the location you're going to start, so that's the first byte. So we're going to write to 10, 11, 12, and 13. When we load this page, we're going to read from the EEPROM both locations 10, and we're going to read the value and put it here, and we're going to read it as text and put it here. I'm going to show you that you're just storing data in the EEPROM. You can read it back in as text or a value, but if you write it as a value, it may not be readable as text, or if you write it as text, it could be a crazy number, but we'll get to that. So I'm going to run this in debug mode just to show you how we can slide the slider back and forth. It'll write the value here, and then when we reset it, it will read it into both locations. Now I've done some testing, so it just has some numbers stored in there right now. But the minute I start sliding this, you'll see this will change to whatever the value of the slider is. If you remember, A was 97, so we're going to set this to 97. So now, the minute I release that, it wrote it to location 10. So if I reset the display now, this should stay at 97. it's going to read this into a text, which should be A because I have it set at 97. But I don't have this doing anything, so this will reset back to the middle. I do that on purpose so you can see that I do reset the display, but yet it'll hold this value. And you can see that we're seeing the A, just like we should expect. If I change it again, if I go to 49, which is 0 or 1, and I hit reset, this should stay at 49. You won't really see this move. That's why I did the A 97 over here. But this should go to 1. And it does. Now we'll go back to the Nextion and make another change. So what we did up here, when we slid this back and forth, we wrote it as a value to location 10. I have this button down here now, which I have some other things we're going to do, but for now we're just going to write 1, 2, 3, and we're going to store it in location 10. If you remember, each one of these is going to be a byte, so we're going to take 1, 2, 3 bytes, but it also has to add a 0 on the end of that. I believe it's a 0 because of the value you'll see that we get up here in the end spot. So when we write it to memory, it actually won't do anything because we're going to write it to memory. And then we'll have to reset the display to read the memory back out. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I'm going to run the debug. And you can see that it held just where it was before, which is interesting even in debug mode on the Nextion, but it duplicates it just fine on my display. If I hit write memory, and then I reset the display, this is going to say 1, 2, 3. But it's not the number 123, it's text 1, 2, 3. And then it equates this number up here as the value because it's going to read those 4 bits. So it's reading whatever 1, whatever 2, whatever 3 is, and then a 0. I'm going to bring up a calculator now and see if this makes sense. So we're going to go to the decimal value and we're going to put in 3355185. And if you look at the hex, it's 31, 32, 33, and then 0, which is what that should be. And I'll go back to our spreadsheet. If you look at here, in hex, 1 is 31, 2 is 32, and 3 is 33. And that's what we have, 31, 32, and 33. So when you write a string to it, and then you read from it, it'll just read those values back. We're going to go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in there. And when we add that, we're going to write to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 15 will be a blank. But when we go to read it back out, and it should show all that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But when we go to read it back out up here, the number, it's just going to read the first 4. So I'm going to run this now. We wrote it just like we did, and you see that it remembered that value. We write it, and then we reset it. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like I didn't make my box big enough. And then we have this huge number here. And I'm guessing when I type this into the calculator, the hex is going to be 34, 33, 32, and 31. Let's clear it. 8, 7, 5, 7, 7, 0, 4, 1, 7. The hex is 31, 32, 33, and 34, and you can see that it stops at the 4th bit, or the 4th digit, because each one of these is 1 byte, and the values are only the first 4. And that's the basics of this. So what we've done so far is we've written a value and a string. What we're going to do now is we're going to write a value to it, and then we'll read it back out. I have the reset here, which resets the display, but I also have this read, which does the same thing. It reads from the memory and it puts it in here. So you can hit either one of these buttons and it should work. And remember, this file is up on cheapcontrols.com. You can go down there and download it if you want. We'll go ahead and debug now that we're writing a value there instead. We're going to write, and then we'll read. And this is the same value as 1, 2, and 3. So all we've done is, instead of writing the string 1, 2, 3, we put the value in those first 4 bytes, and it read it as 1, 2, 3. And then the value works out to be a 0 on the 4th byte, so it reads it just fine. So if you can interpret your string into a number, it would work just fine. Now we're going to make a little change, because if we increase this number by 1, what will happen? Will it be 124? We're going to go back into the editor, and we're going to comment. We're going to comment this line out here, and we're going to change it to 335186. What we've done is we've just increased it by 1. And try and think based upon what byte is in the first byte, and the second byte, and the third byte, what's going to happen with this value. When I write to memory, and then I read from memory, this is going to go to a 6. What it did is it changed the first value, because this is in the first byte. And remember that the lowest value is in this first byte. That when it stores this value here, in the first byte is the least significant digits, which is the lowest numbers, are in this spot here, and then they work across. It works backwards and it can get kind of confusing, but it's important to remember that. And now I'm going to go back into the editor and make another change. I'm going to comment this one back out. I'm going to go back to this. And when we write this, what it does is it puts this number up in here, and it puts 1, 2, 3. But just to show you, you have to be very careful in your memory. We're going to write this exact same number into number 11, into location 11. So what we're doing is we're putting this number in 10, 11, 12, and 13, and then we're going to put this number in 11, 12, 13, and 14. So once again, take some time here if you want to pause the video and formulate in your head what you think might happen. So I'm going to write to memory, and then I'm going to read from memory. And what it did, and this should make sense, the initial one put 1, 2, 3 in locations 10, 11, and 12, because we're reading from 10 still. And then in location 11, 12, and 13, it put it again. So 10 had 1, and it will save 1, and then 11 has 1, 12 has 2, and 13 has 3, and then 14 now has a space. Now when we're reading the text, we're taking a bit of a chance by writing this in here, because when we write the text in 1, 2, 3, it assigns that 4th variable as a space. So if by chance when I read the text in this, location 15 or 10, 11, 12, 13, location 14 wasn't a 0, then it would put some variable here and it would just keep on going until it found a 0. So you need to be careful when you overwrite stuff, because you could cause an issue. Now this value here is only going to read the first 4 bytes, which just so happens to be 4 bytes. So if we were to equate this into hex, it would be 33, 32, 31, and 31. And we'll verify that. Change this to 8, 5, 8, 9, 4, 0, 9. And that is hex value 33, 32, 31, and 31. And you'll notice that it's backwards. And that's the very basics of this. So when you have to know where you're storing your variables and your strings. You have to know the lengths and size of your strings. So it's good to plan this out ahead of time if you were going to store a lot of information. But the nice thing is if you hit the reset button or you lose power, it will retain this values. And then you can use those values to load in whatever it is you need to load in when you restart. I'm going to show more videos on this because I want to integrate this into the waveform. I think the waveform is an interesting tool, and using the Arduino and collecting data, when you go from page to page, you'll be able to use this EEPROM to keep the waveform collecting data and displaying, or at least appears like you display, so when you go back to the page, the waveform keeps going. Well, that's about it for this video. If you like what you saw, consider giving me a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.